Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3, and I can't believe we've come away from the Emirates with 3 points. What a performance by the boys. Absolutely fantastic win. Buzzing with the 3 points. But yeah, let's speak a little bit about the starting lineup. So you had Lemon starting net, of course. You had Dalot, Maguire, Martinez, and Shaw making up the back four. Merino, Casemiro in midfield. Ahmad, Fernandes, Dorgu making up the front three in behind Mbeumo. So it was the same lineup as mine, except that I had Mazraoui start ahead of Dalot. But that was the only change from my lineup. But in terms of the first half, in terms of Arsenal's 11, though, I was surprised not to see Gyökeres start. So Gabriel Jesus started ahead of Gyökeres. So I was a little bit surprised that Arsenal didn't go for their new signing. But yeah, I think in terms of the opening 20 minutes, Manchester United had a little bit of a poor start. Arsenal were all over us in terms of winning duels and second balls, and we couldn't really get out of our own half in the opening 20 minutes. Zubimendi has a chance with a header in the 18th minute. Rice floats in a nice free kick from the right side. Zubimendi beats Casemiro in the air and he heads towards goal, but it's saved by Lemens. And then Arsenal managed 67% possession, 67% possession in the opening 15 minutes of the game, and it was taking longer, and it was taking even longer for United to try and assert themselves into the final third. We really struggled to in the opening 15-20 minutes to actually assert ourselves into the game in terms of in terms of getting to Arsenal's third. And then Arsenal do make it 1-0 in the 29th minute. This is through a Martinez own goal. A ball is whipped in from the left flank with Dorgu failing to clear. Saka keeps it alive and prods in a cross. It deflects off to Odegaard, who with a swinging left foot sends it towards goal, where Martinez, who was tussling with Timber, can only divert it into his own net. So a little bit disappointing that we gave up that goal. I think Martinez needs to be doing a little bit better there. He needs to be putting his foot through the ball and clearing it. But fortunately for Manchester United, Mbeumo makes it 1-1. Arsenal are trying to play out from the back. Saliba plays it to Zubimendi. Zubimendi misplaces his pass and Brian Mbeumo is in on goal. He rounds David Raya and puts it into the empty net. And Man United, we go into halftime 1-1. I think Michael Carrick would have been content with us going into halftime at 1-1, because I think that Arsenal kind of they probably had the better first half. In terms of stats, if you have a look at the stats, Man United had 44% possession compared to Arsenal's 56%. But with that, United had 6 shots, 1 on target, 0.38 xg, and Arsenal had 7 shots with 1 on target with a 0.56 xg. So both sides weren't really testing the keeper too much. In terms of halftime, it probably was a fair result going into halftime 1-1. And then the second half kicks off, and then Dorgu makes it 2-1 in the 50th minute. Dorgu drifts in field and sets off on a driving run, plays a 1-2 with Fernandes, and getting the ball back on the edge of the box. Dorgu brings it under control and lets fly, firing a left-footed curler beyond the dive of Raya into the top corner of the base of the crossbar. What a strike by Praktik Dorgu. Absolutely fantastic strike. What a strike. I couldn't believe it when I saw it go into the back of the net. Really, really good goal by Praktik Dorgu. And Dorgu is coming into his own. I'm really surprised with the performance he's putting in. There's definitely a player there. Personally, when he first signed, I thought I was a little bit skeptical when he first came into the club, and he is in the January transfer window of 2025. But he's been a year now, and he's growing into his own. He's growing as a player. There's definitely a player in there. Sometimes he does look a little bit raw, but he's on a mad redemption arc in terms of playing on the left wing, or playing on the right wing as well, and then playing at left wing back. He's shown great versatility in terms of the position that he can play, and I'm really impressed by Praktik Dorgu so far. And Dorgu makes it 2-1 by a brilliant strike. Then Arsenal make 4 substitutions in a bid to kind of get back into the game. So they make 4 substitutions. Off goes Nkapie, Jesus, Odegaard and Zubimendi, and then on come Ben White, Victor Gyökeres, Mikel Merino and Eberechi Eze. So Arsenal with the 4 substitutions in the 58th minute, trying to get back into the game, trying to get something from the game, trying to win the game, of course. And then Man United make a substitution of their own. Off goes Mbeumo, and then on comes Cunha in the 69th minute. And then a stat here, Mbeumo is the first Manchester United player to score against Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool in a Premier League season since Marcus Rashford in 2022-23, and the first to do so in his first campaign at the club since a certain Robin van Persie in 2012-13. Then Arsenal make a final substitution. Off goes Trossard and on comes Madueke. Then United do make a substitution of their own as well. Dorgu goes off. I think he went off injured. Hopefully he's not out, for too long, because Dorgu's on a really nice run of form. I think he was holding his right leg or something. Hopefully he's not out for too long, and hopefully it's not a serious injury or anything. So Dorgu goes off, and then on comes Sesko. And then unfortunately in the 84th minute, Arsenal make it 2-2. Saka has a good shot with his left foot cutting in from the right side, and Lemens has to make a smart save, and then the ball goes out for a corner. Saka then swings in a corner, and it's mayhem in the box. It falls to Mikel Merino, who puts it into the back of the net to make it 2-2. So Arsenal score from a set piece, which is unfortunate that we weren't able to keep that out. But Arsenal were pushing for an equaliser. It did come a little bit against the run of play. They didn't really have too many chances in the second half, in my opinion. We'll take a look at the stats as well, but I don't remember them troubling Lemens too much in the second half. And then thankfully for Manchester United, we make it 3-2 through Matheus Cunha. In the 87th minute, Fernandes and Merino combine in the middle as the latter plays Cunha into plenty of space. He's got plenty of space to run into. The Brazilian picks his spot from the edge of the box, curling a low shot beyond David Raya and right into the bottom corner to make it 3-2 Manchester United. And obviously the away fans in the Emirates go absolutely wild. And personally, I couldn't believe that when we went 2-1 up, I honestly thought that Arsenal have enough firepower here to get back into the game, to actually win the game. Arsenal are a better side than us. They're chasing a title. They're top of the league. They should be kind of taking the game to Manchester United and basically winning the game. And in terms of Arsenal's performance, I was a little bit disappointed in them. I've heard so many good things about them, and obviously they have been performing well in terms of the season. They're top of the league and the top of the Champions League group. They beat Chelsea 3-2 in the EFL Cup semi-final. They're through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. So there's some talk of the quadruple, but personally I don't think that's going to happen, or hopefully it doesn't happen anyway. It could happen. It potentially could happen. Arsenal could be winning a couple trophies this season. Hopefully they don't. I don't want to see my rival teams kind of be successful, and that goes for Manchester City as well. Personally, obviously, I would rather have Aston Villa win the league than Arsenal or City, but it is what it is. And then United do make a final substitution. Ahmad does go off for Mazraoui. Mazraoui comes on, and then we go into a back five. Mazraoui kind of goes into the right centre back position, and then Dalot goes into the right wing back position, and then we go on. We basically move into a back five, and then you had 7 minutes added on at the Emirates, which I don't know where that came from. I was surprised by that, but thankfully we hold on for the win. Absolutely buzzing with the win. I can't believe we've come away from the Emirates with 3 points. I can't believe last week as well when we beat Manchester City. And in terms of the season overall, I think we've had a couple of results which, I've been completely surprised by. That 2-1 win at Anfield against Liverpool, I was surprised by that. Surprised by our win against Manchester City last week at Old Trafford. Surprised by our win against Arsenal at the Emirates, today. So the last time Manchester United won at the Emirates in the Premier League was on the 2nd of December 2017, where United won 3-1. And, it's been 8 years since we last won at the Emirates. I'm pretty sure it was the 2nd of December 2017. I could be wrong with that, but I'm not sure. But this is the first time also that Arsenal have conceded 3 times in a Premier League game since December 2023 against Luton Town, in which they won 4-3, ending a run of 83 league matches without doing so. So really happy with the win, happy with the 3 points. Obviously we're not coming away with a clean sheet, but that's expected against Arsenal because they are a really good side, and they're at home. But obviously, I think the second goal that we gave up from the corner was a little bit disappointing. But yeah, in terms of the own goal as well. I think it could have been prevented as well in the 29th minute where Martinez puts it into his own net or whatever. It comes off Martinez. That could have been avoided if Martinez gets his clearance right. But overall, I'm still a little bit in shock. I can't believe that we've come away from the Emirates with 3 points as well. And like I said, this season has thrown on a couple of surprise results. In terms of like my opinion. I was, like I've said, surprised against with that win against Liverpool at Anfield. Surprised with a win against City last week. Surprised with a win today. But can't complain. I think overall we probably did deserve the 3 points. But yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the starting lineup, and then we'll take a look at the stats as well. So so Lemens has got an 8.2 here. Which is a little bit surprising. He wasn't really troubled too much. He comes away with man of the match on football, but he made 3 saves. Couldn't really have done anything about the goals he conceded. The own goal that Martinez scored, I think it is kind of Martinez's fault. He probably needs to be doing better there with his clearance. And then in the 84th minute, that was from a corner, so he couldn't really have done anything about that. But I'm a little bit surprised that he's come away with an 8.2 here on FootMob. He only made 3 saves in the match, like you can see here. But yeah, Diego Dalot. I thought he had a good game. He kept Bukayo Saka reasonably quiet. 17 out of 17 accurate passes, and then 1 out of 2 duels won. But in terms of his overall performance against Bukayo Saka, I was content with it. Saka, I don't really remember him having too much joy against Diego Dalot. I think that Saka had this one shot late in the 83rd or 84th minute, which Lemens had to make a save, and then obviously that went out for a corner. Then Arsenal scored from the resulting corner. But apart from that, I don't really remember Bukayo Saka having too much joy against Diego Dalot. So good performance by him. Harry Maguire, again, I think his contract expires at the end of this season, but I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him on. He's had another good performance here, 29 out of 37, 78%, 11 defensive contributions. Really, I think a decent game by Harry Maguire. Unfortunately, we weren't able to keep the clean sheet, but, like I said, 11 defensive contributions, 1 tackle, 1 block, 9 clearances, 5 headed clearances. Good performance by Harry Maguire. 5 out of 5 duels won, so he's won 100% of his duels. He was against Gabriel Jesus up until the 58th minute, who basically didn't really offer anything, and then he was up against Victor Gyökeres, who came on for Jesus in the 58th minute, and Gyökeres didn't really offer anything either. Lisandro Martinez had a decent game as well, apart from the own goal, of course. I think he needs to be doing better with that. 44 out of 53 accurate passes with 83%. Duels, he's won 7 out of 10 there, so he's won the majority of his duels there as well. And I think that we kept Arsenal's attack reasonably quiet throughout the game. I think the two goals that Arsenal scored were a little bit fortunate. Obviously the own goal, and then the second goal from the corner. But yeah, Luke Shaw, decent performance by him again. 25 out of 26 accurate passes with 96%, and then he's won 5 out of 9 of his duels there, which is decent again. Casemiro, obviously he's leaving at the end of the season. He's going to be turning 34 soon, I think. 28 out of 32 accurate passes with 88%. I wouldn't have been totally against the idea of kind of keeping Casemiro around for another season because of the experience he's had, playing for Madrid, winning like 5 Champions League titles. He's a very decorated player, very experienced player as well. And he had a good game in my opinion as well. 9 defensive contributions by Casemiro as well. 4 clearances, 4 headed clearances, 4 recoveries. 2 out of 6 duels won, so possibly could be doing better with his duels. And then Kobbie Mainoo, hopefully he signs a new contract as well. I think we need to build our next midfield around him. He's only 20 years of age, but he's shown like as if he's been playing for Manchester United for so many years. He's so calm, cool and collected on the ball. 35 out of 41 accurate passes, two chances created as well for him, 6 defensive contributions as well. So he's done well. He's done well defensively as well against a tough Arsenal side, who are obviously, like I said, top of the league and best side in the champions elect, so to speak. But 2 out of 9 duels won, so possibly could be doing better with his duels. A little bit disappointed that he's not won a single ground duel, but it is what it is, so he could possibly be doing better with his duels. And then Ahmad, decent performance by him again. 21 out of 23 accurate passes with 91%. 6 defensive contributions as well. I think that when Arsenal did have the ball, we settled into our mid to low block really well, and obviously the wingers in Dorgu and Ahmad were helping out really, really well. In terms of going forward, only 1 touch in the opposition box, which isn't great. 0 out of 2 accurate crosses, possibly could do doing better there. 3 out of 5 ground duels won, which is all right. And then Bruno Fernandes, he he tried to score from the halfway line, but got it all wrong, unfortunately, in the 90th minute or whatever. 41 out of 50 accurate passes with 82%. 2 chances created, which for Bruno Fernandes' standards is a little bit low, I'll be honest with you. Usually he does have a couple more chances created, but 6 defensive contributions as well. He's done well defensively. I think the whole team played well defensively and limited Arsenal to very few chances, in my opinion. But in terms of his attacking contribution, didn't really have no shots on target, unfortunately. 1 touch in the opposition box, 7 passes into the final third, 0 out of 4 accurate long balls, which is not good. But yeah, in terms of his duels, he's won 3 out of 6, so he's won 50% of his duels there. And then Dorgu, who scored an absolute screamer. What a goal that was! Mad goal by Dorgu. 14 out of 20 accurate passes, 70%. And Dorgu's coming into his own here. Like I said, when he first signed, I thought he was a little bit underwhelming. In terms of the first couple games that he started, but he's coming into his own here, and he's kind of been putting in performances that do kind of make him undroppable. But going forward, he looks dangerous. Defensively, he's helping out Luke Shaw. Defensively, he's getting back and doubling up with Luke Shaw as well this match and against Manchester City as well. So he's performing, he's doing well going forward. He obviously scored against Manchester City, and now he's scored against Arsenal as well. So he's on a little bit of a scoring streak right now. And then also defensively, he is getting back and helping out the defense as well. Like I said, doubling up with Luke Shaw. In terms of his duels, he's getting stuck in, and again, he's getting stuck in terms of his duels. He's only won 6 out of 13. So 6 out of 13 possibly could be doing better there with his duels. But can't really complain. He's coming away with a goal, and again, he scored against Manchester City as well last week. So yeah, Brandon Mbeumo as well, scoring that goal from that mistake from Zubimendi. Really well taken goal, rounded David Raya and then put it into the back of the empty net. 7 out of 12 accurate passes, 58%. Possibly could be doing a little bit better there. 2 chances created, 1 out of 8 duels won, which isn't great. Possibly could be doing better there. Definitely needs to be doing better there. But yeah, in terms of the substitutes, Matheus Cunha scored the winning goal. Fantastic goal. Really well bent around. I think he bent it around Gabriel. Gabriel just stretched to block the shot, but Arsenal's midfield were basically nowhere to be seen when Matheus Cunha picks up the ball in the 87th minute to let's fly. I think the goals that Arsenal conceded, they possibly need to be doing better defensively. But this is the first time they've conceded like 3 goals in the league for a long time, since Luton in 2023 or something like that. But yeah, 5 out of 7 accurate passes, 71%, and then 3 out of 4 ground duels won. So good performance. Matheus Cunha coming away with a winning goal, can't really complain. Benjamin Sesko wasn't on the pitch for too long. 1 out of 2 accurate passes, 1 out of 2 duels won as well. And then finally, Mazraoui coming in to fill at right centre back when we switched to a back 5, just to see out the game, because we were up winning at that point. So and there's only a couple minutes left in the game. I think it was okay in terms of Carrick making that substitution, going to a back 5. It could have backfired. It could have backfired. Arsenal could have got more urgency from that substitution that Carrick made, and then they could have kind of possibly grabbed an equaliser in terms of late on in the game. But overall, happy with the win, happy with the performance, happy with the 3 points. Hopefully Dorgu isn't out for too long. Hopefully his injury isn't serious. But yeah, in terms of the stats, let's take a look at the stats overall. I think Arsenal obviously did have more possession with 57% compared to United's 43. In terms of XG, Arsenal do have more, 1.2, 15 shots, 4 on target for Arsenal, and then United with the 10 shots, 3 on target, 0.73 XG for United. One big chance for United and then 0 big chances missed. So we scored our big chance, and then Arsenal had one big chance as well, and they scored from it as well. But overall, I think we deserved the 3 points simply because of the caliber of goals that we scored. They were absolute screamers from Dorgu in the 50th minute, and then Cunha, an absolutely brilliant goal by Patrick Dorgu in the 50th minute, and Matheus Cunha, what a strike by Matheus Cunha as well in the 87th minute. Absolutely brilliant strikes by both of them. So I think that we probably did deserve the win. In terms of duels, Arsenal do edge it in terms of the duels won. So Arsenal do edge in terms of duels, but in terms of the result is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. And we have come away with all 3 points from the Emirates against all odds. It has to be said, against all odds. I personally didn't expect Manchester United to be coming away with 3 points against City last week. I didn't expect Manchester United to win today either. So I'm absolutely buzzing, over the moon. Really surprised as well, but happy. So yeah, I'm still a little bit in shock in terms of the league table. Where does that leave us in the league table? We have moved up to 4th position. So we are in the top 4. I think this is the first time all season that we are finishing the game week inside the top 4. I'm pretty sure that is the case. Because I don't remember us finishing inside the top 4 in previous game week. So I'm pretty sure this is the first time that we are finishing this game week inside the top 4. We have moved to 38 points, and in terms of the Champions League spaces, it is a little bit of it is going to be a little bit difficult to be qualifying for the Champions League because in my opinion, we've dropped too many silly points against against lesser sides. We've got 8 draws, and 8 draws that we've got, which is too many draws in my opinion, of course, and then 5 losses as well. But the draws obviously have been disappointing draws against the likes of Wolves, Burnley, West Ham, Forest, Leeds, Tottenham as well, Bournemouth. They're all the sides that we drew to, which in my opinion we should have been picking up 3 points. And then also we lost to Everton at home against 10-man Everton, which we should have been picking up 3 points in that game as well. And that is a lot of points that we've dropped basically. And had we won them games, we would easily be inside the top 4. We'd probably be top of the league if we hadn't dropped them points. But obviously, football doesn't work like that. Overall, happy with the win, happy with the 3 points. Can't really complain. Obviously, you had Chelsea winning today, and then you had Liverpool losing yesterday. So this was a perfect opportunity to grab all 3 points, push into the top 4, and now we can see we're up against Fulham next. So hopefully we can go on a little bit of a run together, possibly get 5 wins in a row and give my man a haircut. We've all seen him on the Instagram, the lad who's trying to get a haircut, but he can't because United can't win 5 games in a row. Hopefully we can go on a little bit of a run here, and Carrick showing his magic again. He's got the better of Mikel Arteta once again. But yeah, anyway, if you enjoyed this review, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.